support or oppose the 0.5% sales tax? Why or why not? And how will the city be affected by what the voters decide?
I support it. I think we need the sales tax. The county needs the sales tax for various reasons. One of them being the county jail. When Mr. Hart says that they could put some of the offenders back out on the street, even if they're open, because we're not using all of the money for the sheriff. If we don't pass that sales tax, I'll guarantee you they'll be back out on the street. And we don't need that. The other thing, in a selfish way for the city of Canton, that we will lose approximately $400,000 in income tax revenue when they start laying off county employees who work within the city. We can't afford not to have that $400,000. Also, sales tax is fairly equitable. If I spend $10, because that's all I can afford, I have a very small sales tax on it. If Mr. Hart spends $100,000, because that's what he can afford, he's going to have to bear that risk or that brunt. So I think it's an equitable tax because it's a sales tax. People who buy luxury items are going to pay more, which is good. It's going to keep the county government running at some level, not maybe at the highest level, but some level. And I think it will also keep the city running because as the county seat, we are part of what happens to the county government. Thank you.
Mr. Healy.
I not only support it, but I have endorsed it. It is critical that this county tax passes because it's going to affect everybody in the county, but especially as mayor of Canton, the impact that it will have, and quite frankly, that it's already had on our community. We have fought incredibly hard to bring the crime rates down. And the first 3 years, when these statistics that you saw in the paper today, it covers 2008, 2009, and 2010. We're in year 2011, and as we know, we've seen an increase in a number of different crimes already. We've seen a rash over the last couple of months. What's happening is, as we go out there and we target these worst of the worst criminals, and our police officers who are the best out there, these guys are doing an unbelievable job. They're going in there and they're taking these drug dealers down, and they're closing down these gangs, and they're taking these people and arresting them, and they send them over to the county, and days, weeks later, they're getting released. And we're re-arresting them people. Weeks later, sometimes even days later, doing the same crime that we arrested them for the first time around. In fact, we got a report that shows hundreds of crimes that we have arrested folks for, that were individuals that were arrested earlier in the year that the county had already released. The county had over 500 beds. They've already set 200 prisoners free, and they're down to 300 beds right now. And those 200 criminals that have been re-released into our community are out there recommitting crimes, and we're re-arresting them and starting all over again, and there's nowhere for them to go. If this thing doesn't pass, they're going to put 200 more. They're going to be down to a little over 100 criminals, and you're going to have 400 ardent criminals back on our streets, and that's too much for any police department to cover. We need that jail open, and we need to be able to put these guys behind bars, and we need to continue bringing crime down to Canton because it has to happen to make our community livable. Thank you.
I oppose it. Why? My greatest fear is that money that is used and could be used to further the housing of the prisoners isn't going to be. It may go for other costs that the county may have, and ultimately what it may do, it may put some offenders back on the street. But again, if we have a fully staffed police department, it may make things a little easier. And people are going to have to be very diligent, looking out for each other in their neighborhoods to hopefully prevent any extra crime from occurring.
Yes, I endorse the income tax. I think it's the fairest of all taxes. It's a user tax. You don't buy something, you don't pay it. And again, the city will definitely be devastated as far as the crime and the safety of our citizens. When you have a jail that can only hold 122 inmates, and those are the worst of the worst, it's going to be somewhat redundant to our officers to be out there trying to arrest people for serious crimes, and with those individuals, those criminals, knowing that they're not going to be held at the jail, they're going to be summoned and sent on their way. and to come back and commit more crime. It also, not only does it hurt for the jail, but also start development. How are we going to get any development through the county and work with the county? That affects start development. They get no money. Another thing would be the coroner's office. We have a lot of homicides in the city. We also have a lot of just deaths that need to be found out how it happened. And if we don't get the sales tax, the coroner's going to take anywhere from we're going to ship it out some more, or it could be 6 months before he has a cause of death for many of these people that have passed on. So I think it's the best tax. In fact, I don't understand why they're not putting a 1% so they can get the money that they need to operate the county. Thank you.